Welcome back to Brute Mode EX Plus. Today we will continue to make progress on the secret page levels, a set of levels implemented in this mod which all have new unique twists to them. Without further ado, well, the first level is called Slot Danger for a reason. It's the one slot challenge in Brute Mode EX Plus. Kinda, not really. What the actual gimmick of this level is that after planting a plant, its slot will get replaced by another plant. There are 6 different plants that a slot can randomize into after each planting, which are sunflower, repeater, snow pea, potato mine, walnut, or blover. Obviously, you also have a guaranteed 6 of a plant of your choice to begin the level with. Cabbage pult is obviously pretty bad, so I changed to use tall nut instead against these papers. However, the problem here is that since there's 6 different plants a slot can randomize into, the chances of us getting a sunflower is 1 in 6. The inherent design of the slots means that we're gonna have to plant an average of 5 other plants before getting another sunflower, which is like nigh unaffordable with this economy. So the only reasonable thing to do is to start with sunflower instead. Starting with 6 sun producers will help us cycle through the slots faster, so we can get even more sunflowers. I mean, you can't do anything if you don't have sun, so I don't think it's possible to choose anything but sunflower to start with this level. Immediately, we can see the big difference in amount of defense we can get up early in the early game. A ton of snow peas, repeaters, and whatnot, but there's still a big problem ahead of us. We have no tall nut in this level, so we can't stop pole vaulting zombies from leaping over our plants and destroying them instantaneously, and we also don't have Brave Buster. If we don't have a way to stop them, we might as well cut our losses and mitigate the amount of damage they can do by putting our sunflowers in front of our attacking plants. On top of that, we can mitigate a lot of damage by just not recklessly wasting our blover, since they are the only way we can stop infiltrating pole vaulters from making a gravestone. This strategy works beautifully up until the first flag. We're still fine against newspapers for now, thanks to walnuts. Although weaker than tall nuts, a wall is still better than no wall. However, this strategy doesn't work in unlucky scenarios. I did not have blover when 2 pole vaulters in the same lane were coming at us. Not much I could have done about that. Just bad luck. And just like the issue we had in 1.7, this causes a domino effect. Once a pole vaulter infiltrates, we get less space to defend with, making it easier for more pole vaulters to infiltrate. On top of that, we now also get swarmed by the horde of Gargantuars coming our way, and we only have so much sun left to spend on blowers for the rest of the level. And as expected, more pole vaulting zombies continue to infiltrate deep into our defense, but thanks to our smart planning to put the sunflowers in the front, we are holding off for now. The zombies slowly make their way closer to the exit as the waves go by, but now it's just the final stretch of the level as we approach the final few waves and we just need to stall for time. We essentially get overwhelmed in every lane now. With only a few sunflowers left, there is not much I could do except hope and pray that this is the wave before the final wave. And this would be true. This was indeed the last wave before the final wave. With snow peas slowing everything down, we have enough time for lawnmowers to clean everything up at once. This about concludes the first level today, and we're already cutting it close to beating it. Just one more wave and this would have basically made this a loss, not a victory. The next level is called Heisenberg Zombie. No, not the alcohol brand. We're talking about the German physicist who introduced the uncertainty principle in quantum mechanics. Now, what's so special about Heisenberg zombies? Well, you can see the problem on the first wave of the level. All zombies now appear in lanes seemingly different from their own. Not exactly what the uncertainty principle says, but this level is basically invisible but a bit easier. A huge consequence of this gimmick is that plants like potato mine and squash are now seemingly impossible to use, as the lane that the zombies appear in are different to their own. To even defend against a zombie, we need to guess the lane it is in across all 5 lanes. In other words, we're basically playing blind but with the information of what zombies there are. So naturally, I'm taking a page out of the book from strategies used to beat the game while blind, which is using puff shrooms to determine the lanes at which zombies show up. The slightest bit of problem being, we usually don't need to determine the position of weak zombies, while pole vaulters incur a penalty for making them leap. The chances of us stopping a pole vaulter in time is just entirely up to luck to where I plant my puff shrooms, so there's not much I can do when I guess all the wrong lanes. On top of that, this is the most stupid zombie in this level, the Conehead Jalapeno Screen Door Zombie. Usually, we just use a squash or potato mine on them and call it a day. In this level, by the time we can pinpoint its location and try to spend an instant kill on it, well... The other problem is squash zombies are also in this level. Without knowing the lane it is in, the only reliable way to stop them from squashing our defense is to build a full line of tall nuts. This is the same problem we have with pole vaulters, and it's pretty annoying that we cannot use the conventional method of activating squash zombies using free puff shrooms. Well, you can see we're using Starfruit because, generally speaking, the lane that it's put in does not matter as it basically does damage to zombies across the whole board at once. However, letterheads that bypass our Starfruit cluster are even worse, because we won't know that they're not in the Starfruit lane until it's too late already, and we have no damage to stop it. My solution to not knowing the lanes at which zombies show up in is to simply defend all 5 lanes at once. If I plant a potato mine and squash in lanes 1 and 2, and some zombies bypass them, we know that the remaining zombies must be in lanes 3, 4, or 5, so a cherry bomb will kill it guaranteed. Doing puffshroom lane counting is just too confusing for me. I'm not going to keep being greedy, so I'm just going to try and utilize every bit of sun to efficiently defend all lanes at once. This strategy is like 10 times better than using puffshroom to lane count, because by the time we know what lane the zombie is in, it dies immediately, instead of us having to respawn late. What's the problem with doing this? Well, we still need to reactively kill off jalapeno zombies, but we won't always have all squash, potato mine, and cherry bomb available at the same time. Especially if you don't have cherry bomb, the chances that a jalapeno zombie exploding immediately goes to 60%, and its explosion is, as you know, devastating. I ditched Winter Melon in my next attempt in favor of Imitator Squash. Having even just one more instant kill significantly reduces the chance that we can't find a jalapeno zombie in time to kill it. The idea worked decently, preventing 3 out of 4 jalapeno explosions, but having to rebuild just one lane was devastating enough that I didn't have enough sun to find the next jalapeno zombie. When you mess up just once and have your whole defense start falling apart, that's how you know this level isn't going to be easy. If Imitator Squash isn't enough coverage to defend against jalapeno zombies, the next logical thing to do is to bring Imitator Cherry Bomb instead. We need the best coverage possible. But it's still not good enough. Imitator Cherry Bomb is too hard to use as we can't really put it into a horde of zombies and expect it to survive before detonating. I was extremely lucky this run that I found a gramophone zombie to stall out the wave before the second flag, so I was able to somewhat recover from my losses. The general absence of jalapeno zombies also helped a lot with us trying to defend early on, but as soon as one showed up and I couldn't find where it was, the entire defense just fell apart. And I hate to say it again, it's all just luck based. I didn't make a correct guess and there's pretty much nothing I can do to not lose in this position. You know what has 100% coverage instead of using Imitator Cherry Bomb? Well, that's right. Doomshroom is the only choice we have left now. Hate to resort to it, but it had to be done. Doomshroom will guarantee us to kill the jalapeno zombie as it has full board range, and hopefully this is now sufficient to finally stop them from wiping out our defenses. Of course, we need more sun to use Doomshroom spam as the craters will take up some space we have in the back where we can safely plant them, so I have Twin Sunflower as well. Using tall nuts to block off fast moving zombies and pairing that with Doomshroom spam is just super effective here. However, after the second flag is where there are too many zombies coming at once, and these zombies start pummeling down our defense very quickly. Thankfully, we already amassed more than enough sun, so it wasn't that impactful to lose our tall nuts and sun production. We are able to plant a few more Doomshrooms with our reserve sun, and this allows us to beat this extremely cursed level. Next level is Huge Trouble Little Zombie. Huge trouble because of this zombie. I mean, it can't be that bad against Conehead Pea Shooters, right? If you think you have a way to defend off this horde on the first wave of the level, please tell me. And oh boy, this level is about to be one of the most painful to beat from the looks of it. First order of business, garlic. Nobody is beating this without the garlic variation of the dump strategy, because we have to deal with the stupid Conehead Pea Shooter zombies again. The spawn rate is up by 4 times because of the reduction of health to 25%, but as a consequence, this means we have to deal with 4 times more pea shooter zombies. The only reliable strategy against Conehead Pea Shooter zombies is to push them all into an empty lane, and install with Blover and Ice Shrooms and clean up with Doomshroom. I try to stock up my Doomshrooms as much as possible for the waves after the first flag, and I start detonating my nukes one by one, every wave until I'm out, so I start using Ice Shrooms. This works until I'm out of nukes, and the entire defense falls apart to the mob of pea shooter zombies. It also doesn't help I wasted a Doomshroom by letting it get frozen by a Zomboni. I tried again with the same loadout, but the garlics just take away too much damage early due to the increased spawn rate, making it super hard to even pull off the early game stall without getting lucky on the lane spawns. Without just a bit more sun, we can't even afford to get a Doomshroom plus Coffee Bean before we lose, and it's just a very quick early game loss. This next attempt, I start using Squash instead of Twin Sunflower because I noticed I was spending a lot of my sun on just blowovers against letterheads, which can be easily dealt with. This was a really smart decision as we save so much sun by just straight up killing the zombie that is causing us trouble. It allows us to easily set up 3 rows of sunflowers before flag 1. I put down my Doomshroom in preparation to detonate it when the first flag comes around to insta-kill it, only I forgot a zombie in this level. Who knew just an ice resurfacer can stop the detonation of a nuke? With that lesson learned, I won't plant Doomshrooms towards the front of the lawn again, so I put it in the back. And well, it was good until it wasn't. This time, I tried with Potato Mine as somewhat extra anti-Zomboni measure, as Potato Mine will still work against Zombonis while frozen, while Squash cannot do anything. Some improvements to instant kill usage early game, such as using more ice shroom efficiently as well as less blowovers, allow me to sneak in just 1 extra Doomshroom before the first flag. In addition to that, I managed to save on using a Doomshroom on the wave after the first flag by just using a Cherry Bomb, thanks to the lack of vehicles in that one wave alone. I used several blowovers to stall the zombies until the arrival of the next wave, allowing me to plant just 1 Doomshroom that can kill 2 waves simultaneously. Doing this just once is enough to get enough to beat the level, as we are just left with the final wave now, and we have another Doomshroom that we can use here. I couldn't beat this level even after squeezing water out of stone, so I suppose it's time to pull out the big guns. Aside from just the secret page that's in this game, there's also secret plants. Here it is in all its glory. Welcome to the Evolved Plants page of the plant selection screen. After buying out all the plants in Crazy Dave's shop, you can access this menu by typing card. The Evolved plants are all extremely powerful plants, so I will be limiting myself to not use too many of them for now. So what does the Evolved Sunstream do? First of which, it has the 35-second initial cooldown, and it costs 0 sun to plant. A Sunstream that costs 0 sun with long cooldown sounds interesting on paper, but it's not just the plant that invalidates using normal Sunstream, because when I plant it, Gold bloom in PvZ1. Many of the evolved plants feature abilities similar to plants in PvZ2, and you can see how unbalanced this could be if I didn't limit myself to the number of evil plants I can use. Although Gold Bloom has an awfully slow recharge, just an extra 150 sun in the early game is more than enough to start the snowball effect of accumulating sunflowers. The difference is already very noticeable as we already start stocking up our Doomshrooms and Ice Shrooms in the middle column several waves before the first flag shows up. With 4 Doomshroom stock going into the first flag, I am fairly certain using just one evolved plant is enough to push us over the edge to beat this level with ease. The difference is just undeniable. We literally have a Doomshroom on the board at all times, and we don't even need to do some blowover wave stall to get past every single wave. With the little bit of boost in sun throughout the level, we can easily clear this level. This is just the first glimpse to the power of evolved plants as we delve into even more difficult levels later. And I would be correct to assume that future levels will only get worse for us, because up next is Against the Flow. We all know how bad Go With The Flow was, so here we go again. I see Newspaper Zombie, I say we use the dump strat again if we can use Garlic. And indeed we can, since it's going against the flow this time, not with the flow. Now exactly what even is going against the flow? I mean, I don't see plants getting actually pulled right now. Let me just deal with this Newspaper Zombie real quick with 2 instant kills. You see, Go With The Flow was when plants took damage, they get pushed to the left. Now, when zombies take damage, they move to the left. And they move more the more damage they take. A huge consequence of this Against the Flow mechanic is that tall nuts don't block for very long anymore. Since it keeps damaging any zombies eating it, it will just phase through eventually. Moreover, since Blowover does a bit of damage to everything on the screen, using it literally teleports all the zombies forward by like a half a tile. Not great for stalling. Well, what exactly is the problem here? The thing is, the zombies get pushed along the lawn every time they get hit, but this is based on the constant damage they receive. Because of how Cabbage Pult keeps attacking zombies bit by bit, taking a long time to kill high health zombies will keep teleporting them forward, letting them easily bypass our defense. On the other hand, there are multiple unconventional ways to do damage to zombies without actually physically hurting them, so they won't get teleported forwards. Marigold is one of these methods, as it's just slashing their health to 25%. Unfortunately, football zombies still have literally 1500 health and Cabbage Pult will keep teleporting them forwards. However, a weird interaction I found is with Hypnoshroom. When attacking normal zombies, it looks like they transport zombies towards lawnmowers due to the damage both zombies take. This also shows how much zombies get pushed by the flow if we didn't insta-kill them. It looks like Bucketheads at full health can easily make it to the end of the lawn even at halfway. Another weird interaction is this. Since Newspaper Zombies deal slightly more damage, the hypnotized zombie gets pushed more, and we end up with this weird animation. And well, yeah, when its newspaper is broken, only the hypnotized zombie does damage, so this happens. In the next run, I came up with a more thought-through strategy that could possibly allow us to deal with every zombie in this level, Chompers and Hypnoshroom. My thinking was that if I spend my Hypnoshroom on the football zombies, Chompers should be able to one-shot everything else as long as I just stall the zombies out using walnuts. This works really well until the first flag. One thing I didn't consider were the Jack-in-the-Box zombies, and they easily explode up all our walls, so stalling using walnut is just not possible. If we can't stall with walnut or damage them with Cabbage Pult, then the next logical choice is to go with the dumb strategy again, since we can control the movement of the zombies better. This is actually the perfect strategy for this level, since we can control when zombies will take damage and thereby make them only teleport while in an empty lane, to not lose some flowers. In addition, we utilize Pumpkin so we can block off newspaper zombies and football zombies after they get pushed from one instant kill. It's the perfect replacement for Tallnut. Unfortunately, when I don't keep up with the zombies by constantly planting enough pumpkins, they will eventually make their way through everything. Newspaper zombies also behave weirdly with the against the flow mechanic. Even when it doesn't actually take damage in its invulnerable state, it still gets pushed forward. Then again, beating the level isn't as simple as it sounds. Knowing when to plant instant kills is crucial. I thought my pumpkin would be back in time when I planted this Doomshroom, but I was very wrong. I thought I'd bring back Walnut into the equation after the previous run, since it looked like we needed just a bit more flexibility to stall out the zombies to get back to our pumpkin in time. This stalling also means more than just time to recharge our plants from cooldown, since this also means a lot more sun generated when we are getting more time between each wave. However, even more sun cannot save us if we use Doomshroom at the wrong place and wrong time. This time around, I also made sure to get pre-planted pumpkins in the back so in case I made any mistakes, I would already have backup pre-planted, ready to catch any incoming zombies. These backup pumpkins were definitely useful because just a few waves in, they are already all used up by the infiltrating newspaper zombies and thankfully we didn't lose because of them. Luckily, not too many newspaper zombies showed up in the next few waves, allowing just Walnut to stall out the football zombies, allowing me to recuperate my defenses. This was absolutely what we needed here as it gave me much more time to get my instant kills off cooldown, and I was able to easily deal with the last few waves ending up to the final wave. With no newspaper zombies or football zombies in lanes without lawnmowers, we are able to secure in a victory in against the flow. Thankfully, this wasn't as bad as go with the flow. Well, this next level needs less introduction, because we're back in Dusk. This world was seen previously in the original Brutal Mode's World 7 in 2 levels. To catch up to speed, Dusk is where mushrooms fall asleep while no sun falls from the sky. In this situation where our income is so limited, we have an extra minute of preparation time. But you can see, the extra minute of preparation time doesn't really help at all. We only have 2 sunflowers by the time the zombies come, which is literally the same when playing in daytime. I can only keep getting potato mines and squashes to defend early, and there's literally nothing more than 50 sun I could afford with this kind of crap economy. By the time a dancing zombie is coming, I still can only get potato mine and squash. Yeah, this is a massive bust. I am instantly aware of how little sun we are limited to in this level, so I immediately brought in the imitator squash instead of umbrella leaf so I can simply just survive the early game right now. After a very long early game preparation, I am able to finally get a cattail on the 6th wave of the level, after planting 10 sunflowers, but by now, just 1 cattail is nowhere near enough to defend. You can either start with 4 basic zombies or 1 buckethead zombie, and starting with 4 basic zombies is enough to make you lose because it's so expensive to defend 4 different zombies at once. The difference is undeniable when comparing how much more easier the level is if it only sent bucketheads. We literally have 2 less sunflowers and 1 less cattail on the exact same wave compared to our previous run. Exact same strategy, just different spawns. Being so restricted on sun, my only option now is to spam puff shrooms and hope they can still stall the waves long enough so I can get up more sunflowers before dancing zombies come in. I also strategically stacked all my sunflowers into 2 lanes so I can sacrifice lawnmowers in other lanes and only need to spend sun defending 2 lanes in the early game. Doing all of this allows us to get our first cattail on the 4th wave of the level instead of the 6th, so we can now at least survive the early game with some actual defense. I quickly set up my tall nuts and several more cattails alongside a planter to further increase my damage output, and this can easily beat out all the zombies early on before the first flag. But a problem was quite apparent. Just getting more and more cattails is not the easy solution to our problems, as each one is slightly less efficient than the previous as they target already dead zombies. The horrible targeting can be seen here. A chocolate pogo zombie coming down the lane, and it gets by with no problems because it takes more than a full second for cattails to retarget. To squeeze out even more sun in the early game, I employ the tactic of stalling zombies until letterheads come in their own lane, so I don't even need to spend my instant kills defending. Although we're still only getting our first cattail on the 4th wave of the level, we have a lot more sunflowers compared to our last run, so we can also start getting tall nuts much faster. We finally get enough sun from our optimizations to start affording melon pulse after the first flag, and things are finally looking like good enough that we can beat this level. However, my downfall came when I couldn't stop a zomboni because Potato Mine was on cooldown. Even with 2 melon pulse and planter, it wasn't enough, and it froze one of our melon pulse. Not only that, but 2 more shovel zombies also came in the 2 upper lanes and easily took out our tall nuts as I hadn't planted any melon pulse there yet to stop ladders from infiltrating. After that, even catapults in the 5th lane started rolling forward and destroyed our tall nut. Everything just fell apart at once at the same time, and there's no chance to recover now. Having not enough sun is just one of the many problems we have in Dusk. Not having access to cheap mushrooms is also quite impactful here because we can't use ice shrooms to stop target zombies. My advice is, since you need to overspend to defend early target zombies anyways, you're better off straight up restarting. In my next attempt, I decided to switch to using starfruit because I thought that it would be easier to get more starfruits faster to defend off zombonis. However, I wouldn't have considered the importance of the splash damage of melon pulse until 3 dancing zombies came in at the same time and started spawning a horde of backup dancers. Very quickly, it was very obvious that starfruit was absolutely horrible at dealing with the high density of backup dancers, and it was far inferior compared to the DPS that melon pulse does. Adding onto its weakness, starfruits also cannot penetrate through the pumpkin zombies because of their constant healing. Without using melon pulse or instant kills, we cannot kill them. Another problem with starfruit is with ladder zombies. Their high hit points and fast speed spell doom to our starfruits, as its ladder is simply too tanky for our starfruits to take out. Even though we can easily take out any vehicles with spike weed or spike rock, there is no similar solution against ladder zombies unless we use Magnashroom. Then again, Magnashroom isn't going to be particularly effective since there's also pumpkin zombies in this level that's going to eat up most of the Magnashroom's pulls. To fix my problems with sun, I thought about using Imitator Sunflower to solve my problems here with not getting enough sun fast enough. Unfortunately, it's not very good because planting them means we have to push back our early game defense. By the time we can profit from them, we're already dead from doing nothing. With the failure of any normal strategy, I turned to using Doomshroom. Yeah, don't ask me why I decided to bring in Starfruit and Planter in this run. I don't know either, even after watching back on myself. For obvious reasons, just one Doomshroom is not enough as the primary defense source, as you're basically forced to have Imitator or a lot of stalling to make Doomshroom work. I got rid of the useless plants in the previous loadout like Starfruit, Planter, and Umbrella Leaf. Now I'm going all in on the tall nut variation of the dumb strategy once again. The only problem with using Doomshroom is with the realization of how expensive Doomshroom really is if you need to keep using it every wave. The upkeep is absolutely nuts. I tried to use the Cabbage Pulse strategy again this level because of its very good cost efficiency, but the damage it does in the early game is kind of too garbage to justify running. Even with me bringing both Walnut and Tall Nut, this just doesn't seem to be very effective due to how atrociously bad Cabbage Pulse is early on individually against hordes of backup dancers. We get overwhelmed extremely badly by Dancing Zombie, and it doesn't seem like there are really any good cheap options that can deal with them in this level. The next 3 runs were all atrocious to say the least. On attempt 12, we horribly died to an early game letterhead because we don't even have the instant kill off cooldown. Then, on attempt 13, we got absolutely wrecked because of the terrible early game RNG with target zombie. And by attempt 14, I was fed up with the presence of early target zombies, so I didn't even bother trying and I just straight up restarted to save time, knowing fully well this was a dead run. With basically all our options already exhausted, I'm calling for help from the evolved plant section again, bringing in Gold Bloom again. Gold Bloom is undeniably a star in this level. Providing an unconditional 150 extra sun after 35 seconds is absolutely game changing as it allows for us to plant more sunflowers much faster. The difference is just insane when you get a little bit more sun because of this snowball effect. We end up going from having only 16 sunflowers before to like a full 4 columns. Not only that, we can literally start affording melon bolts and planterns and umbrella leaps before even a first flag, and this is all just because of getting that little bit of extra sun from Gold Bloom. We are able to get full defense in every lane, and we can still afford to keep stalling out lanes using Blover to stop ourselves from getting overwhelmed. Unfortunately, this defense is not very safe against particularly catapult zombies because I didn't spend the time to put umbrella leaves in the front, so I lost a bunch of sunflowers this way. Dealing with Zombonis are also an issue because our damage output is still not enough, and using several Blovers on just one Zomboni is necessary for our defense to not get steamrolled. With so much sun production gone now, it is very hard for us to recover from this state as we still haven't gotten melon bolts in the water so far, as we've been relying on just instants. With widespread issues in our defense, it's no wonder why we lost this attempt even after a very strong early game economy. EVO plants may be good, but we still need to plan accordingly. I attempt with the same loadout and we get off to a strong start once again, but this time with a larger focus on also planting a lot more tall nuts early on to build a strong line of defense. Although I no longer have either umbrella leaf or planturn going into the first flag, hopefully having 3 additional tall nuts will be useful in helping us protect our sunflowers. I of course very quickly set up the remaining melon bolts to get defense across all 6 lanes and also get planturns to double their DPS, while still making sure sunflowers are well defended. This army of just 1 column of melon bolts is already absolutely shredding up everything the game is sending at us, and we are now moving onto our 2nd column of melon bolts. Some Zombonis are able to make it far into our defense, crushing our tall nuts and also freezing a few sunflowers, but thankfully didn't do too much damage otherwise. This meant that we could continue building up our defense quickly, getting up to 2 columns of melon bolts in the ground lanes to fully defend off ladder zombies. And as we know, 2 columns of melon bolts alongside planturn and the chilling effect is able to beat every zombie from when we played Survival Endless, so this was basically a free win from this point onwards. With more than 1000 sun left over, we've beaten Dusk, using the classic melon bolt strategy. Even with us using Gold Bloom, the level was still fairly challenging. That's all for today's levels of Brunomodi X+'s secret page and the first evolved plant. Next time, we will continue our more secret page levels and we'll actually start moving on to the second page of the secret levels, page 5. Remember to subscribe and stay tuned, and thank you to our channel members for supporting the RCCH channel. For now, have a great day and I'll see you all next time.